Turn off your heart light or turn it on. That's up to you. Either way, on the Cinema 9 podcast, we are open to Neil Diamond. We're open to E.T. We're open to everything. We love connecting with you on this show. It's the Cinema 9 podcast. Michael Govier, Travis Roy, Eric Bransham, Cinema 9 pod at protonmail.com. Today's focus, when we do the Does It Hold Up or Not, will be about a movie called Black Swan, chosen by Eric Bransham. But first, as always, Travis Roy, it is Thursday, September 9th, 2021. Where are we at this point?
Where are we? Like in our life, like our geographic location.
Yeah, it's
like
encompass the lives of everyone.
Yeah, like all of a sudden David Bowie's in my head, just like, where are we now? Where are we now? I don't know, David. Shit, I'm on the spot.
It's a tough one. That's a toughie.
Well, you know, I watched a really anxiety-ridden movie last night, so maybe my mind is not like in a place where I can easily get to simple answers. I watched this movie called Black Swan.
Oh, I never heard of it. I wonder if it holds up.
Let's find out.
We will on this show. We'll find out. Eric Bransham, you chose this movie. We'll talk about it later, but how are things going otherwise? You got a nice internet connection? You got a computer? You sound good.
Yeah, I'm feeling great, Mike. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I watched a lot of movies, too, so I'm going to be pumped to talk about some of these ridiculous pigs.
All right. The man's got things to say about movies. That's why we're here.
Well,
good.
That is an important part of the show. I would think that matters. Those of you out there, you want to comment, you can always chime in here on the live stream as you like to do. And you can send us an email, cinema9pod@protonmail.com. 5-star review on Apple Podcasts always helps the show grow. If you've never heard that before, if you've never listened to a podcast for some reason, no one's ever told you that. Well, let me be the first to tell you that's how it works.
If you didn't know, you telling someone to watch or listen to our show would help us.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that.
I don't know if you knew.
If you're
that.
wondering what's happening right now and what you're listening to or seeing, then it's a podcast, and we talk about movies.
Hey, did that Shang-Chi? Is that how that's what's called?
Yeah, Shang-Chi.
Did that come out yet?
Yeah, it came out last week, and it is the first Marvel movie since I think Thor that I did not see. The first Thor that I did not see the day of in theater.
It's 10 years because that's 2011. Fuck.
I know. I really fucking hate it, but I'm thinking I'm gonna wait until the crowds die down and go hunker in a back corner, some night on a Tuesday night or something.
I was so surprised for being exclusive to theaters. It fucking killed at the box office, man.
Yeah,
I think it's like 90 million.
Record breaking.
Surprise, man.
Record breaking. I'm staying the fuck away from theaters. I'm staying away for the time being. But people
do like I told you, stay away from me.
I have no idea what song that is, but I love your singing voice.
I love your
so pretty.
laugh.
Godsmack. That's so dumb. Never misunderstand me.
I'm not ashamed to say that I don't know any fucking Godsmack songs.
Keep Away. That was a huge hit for them. That really took them to another stratosphere at that point.
So, is that?
Yeah, I was more of a Stabby Westwood guy. I don't know.
I'm disturbed.
No, that's
Drowning
Disturbed.
Pool, maybe.
Yeah,
that guy's dead. We can't make that.
Right? Wasn't
that's Disturbed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Disturbed. System of a Down is actually a legit band with things to say that matter.
I didn't say they didn't have anything to say. I just said I'm not listening.
No, I'm just making that clear so people, I don't want them to be lumped in with all those other bands that are, I sang the lyrics, but
themselves.
It's the same, Mike. Lump them in.
Hey, Eric, it's fall here. We're on the brink of fall. Have you had any pumpkin ales yet?
So as soon as September 1st hits, I go immediately to the store. I get my red apple cinnamon candles. I get right into it, man. So I'm drinking apple cider. I'm thinking about crisp leaves and shit. I'm totally falled up.
He's ready.
Thinking about crisp leaves and shit.
That's fantastic.
That's beautiful. I couldn't explain it better myself.
Yeah. I'm loving this weather. This is already fantastic. It actually feels like fall. I'm loving it. I'm loving fall. Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how jingles get in your head? It's such
Remember
a
the Fall
thing.
Guy? Remember that show, The Fall Guy with Lee Majors?
Sure, love Fall Guy. He might jump from a tall building or blow up a brand new car, cause I'm the unknown stuntman. Something blah 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 blah.
Go so far.
Wow.
Wait, is that Rockford Files? I mixed up Rockford Files and the Fall Guy. I got to be
Rockford
honest.
Files,
They both
bro.
seem very similar to me.
I don't know. They're both 10 years before your time, so I'm impressed that you know them at all.
It's only because what they did in the 80s is they dumped all the reruns on us.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason we know
Hunter,
daytime TV.
Hammer.
Right. We had no streaming options. It was here, just enjoy Green Acres, because that's what we fucking had.
Yep. That's all you get. Oh, Sesame Street is over. Fucking watch. What was that other one?
Oh, the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah, all that
that's
shit.
it.
I Dream of
That's it.
Jeannie, fucking Bewitched, which
Bewitched,
aren't bad. I didn't mind watching those by any means. I full on liked Mr. Ed, but I don't know that I would go back now and enjoy it as much.
Yeah, you kids got it good today, though. You got a lot of options. You should be grateful that you have the choice to choose freely.
Yeah, we had 3 channels. Green Acres was on one of them all the time.
Yeah, it was that or the news.
Okay.
The news.
Which Gabor was that? Was that Ava?
Jaja.
The fucking Gabors. What a weird
Gabors.
Maybe we'll do. Have we done a movie yet with any Gabors in it? I don't think we have.
No, we have not. We should give a shout out to Michael Kenneth Williams. Gone too soon this past week. We don't have to, not to get too morose, but we lost another great one over the past week. And we're a movie podcast, so I would like to salute him. Do you guys have a favorite role of his by any chance?
Another Philip Seymour Hoffman-esque death, unfortunately.
I mean, like the coroner's report's not out as of the recording, but yeah, it sounds like I don't know, man. I hear there's a lot of fentanyl out there. I hear there's a lot of laced shit out there. I'm not really into all that, but if you're taking stuff up your nose right now, test your shit, man. It sounds like there's a lot of bad shit out there lately.
There's more ways than ever to actually test your stuff now. It's actually the easiest it's probably ever been in the history of the world to do that. So that is something you can actually do on the internet. You could buy this stuff and test your stuff. If you're going to test your stuff. I think it's a fair statement. Harm reduction.
Yeah,
I'm with you. But as far as his career, I mean, non-wire stuff, obviously, because that's his famous role.
Of course. But we talked up The Public on here before with good reason. He was really standout in the Emilio Estevez directed feature, The Public. That was really great.
That's a great call.
Yeah.
I agree with that sentiment. But I think there's something else. Eric, do you have a personal favorite?
I'm going to be completely honest with you, man.
Oh, boy.
I'm not familiar with this guy's work.
Yeah, he's only been around for 15, 20 years. You have seen his movies. You saw 12 Years a Slave. He was fantastic in that. It wasn't a huge role, but I mean, you've seen him in multiple. You did see that, right? 12 Years a Slave.
I did, but I don't remember this guy. I'm sorry.
I forgive you.
That's mind-blowing.
Because I've never seen Boardwalk Empire or The Wire, and these are the big ones.
So I was watching The Wire.
Presence, though.
Yeah, I was watching The Wire when it came out. So like, I was among the many people that was like, I am learning this motherfucker's name. This guy is. I mean, to me, really. I thought he was one of the best actors working right now.
He's also in Inherent Vice, your favorite, Eric.
Yeah, everyone hates
he was
that
in
shit.
that.
I walked out before he came on screen.
Yeah, I think I did too.
Oh, yeah, it's not his fault though. I mean, I don't blame him at all.
We all know who to blame for that one.
Yeah, I looked through his, and I'm trying to get like reminded of roles. And I was like, oh yeah, that was legit. I don't know. I think The Wire. It's his crowning achievement, and I do love The Public. He was great in The Public,
but he never really got offered the roles. I think that his caliber of acting earned him. To be honest, I don't think that.
I agree.
I think that a lot of people liked him and respected his work, and he clearly had some friends in the business because he popped up not just in a lot of things in smaller roles, but he did a lot of shorts and a lot of like Funny or Die and that kind of shit. Like he did like a lot of that kind of stuff too. What do you think?
That's what he was in. He was in Motherless Brooklyn, and he was good in that. That was well done.
Yeah. When he came around with The Wire, I thought that like when Idris Elba popped, like I thought like Michael K. Williams would be right behind him, but never really took off the way I think that he deserved. But he will be missed. Yeah,
The Wire is one of those. It's like I always relate it to the discography of someone like Leonard Cohen, who I don't know much about, but one day I'm gonna like do the deep dive and just digest all of it.
Are you telling me you're missing out on Leonard Cohen too? You would love Leonard Cohen, dude. Like you seem like the biggest Leonard Cohen fan.
I'm not ready yet.
Not ready yet. Yeah, you've only had 4 decades under your belt. You're gonna need a few more before you're ready for Leonard Cohen.
Not ready yet. I'll retire and then buy the CDs.
And he was in the Gambler. He plays one of the guys holding Mark Wahlberg up for cash. He was good in that. So some of these he picked some solid roles, but also he was just in a few that were
he
just
made
weren't
some
great
choices
movies.
Where I wonder if they were like friends or he just was broke or what. But yeah, he took.
You can't control those things though.
Yeah.
So I mean, there it is. So.
Same.
A guy who maybe we would have seen his best work yet to come. Now that we're talking about it, frankly.
Yeah, I kind of thought that that would be the case. I always kind of thought that, but c'est la vie. So
rest in power, my friend.
Yeah,
we'll catch you in the fictitious afterlife.
Yeah, see you in the ether.
Damn it. That's my own personal issue. It's not about you, Mr. Williams. I wish you the best. Rest in power. Don't forget, on the Cinema 9 pod, we paid tribute to those that came before us. So if anybody has someone in mind that we haven't covered and that we missed out on, please let us know, because, we want to give tribute to people who deserve it. And, not just because they died, but maybe they did something cool and they got like an award or something. Let us know. Send us an email. cinema9pod@protonmail.com. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Do we get any emails lately?
I haven't checked.
I'm checking right now. We're going live to the email center. We've got one. Ding, 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 ding.
Someone emailed us. That was nice of them.
It's from it's our old pal, Chad, checking in from around the world.
Okay.
Hey, Chad. Chad wants to know, watched the Wolf episode and loved it. One of the best episodes yet. Wow. Big highlights for me included Will Patton as a slippery silver dollar turkey product.
Lunchables the movie, yeah. Thomas Jane as Cracker.
Arlie
Donald Moffat is the cheese.
I wonder if we'll get to that. Yeah, that's great. Arlie Ermy as Army.
Yep. Army as as sodium nitrates.
Our jokes are funnier when someone else says them back to us.
Gaylord Sartain eggs erroneous talk. He loved that.
So funny.
Travis watching Aguirre, The Wrath of God, one of my all-time favorites.
Sublime.
Solid Wings discussion, although Robert Pastorelli was the overall guy in Murphy Brown. So there you go,
right.
Eric.
Yeah. Robert Pastorelli.
You got that one. Itchy Stomach's calamine lotion.
Itchy Stomach.
Right. Thank you again to Icky Thumper.
Thank you very much, Icky Thumper.
Can't wait for next week's Black Swan. Well, that's happening right now, Chad. I think Travis mentioned before that he's watched Satoshi Kon's animated film Perfect Blue, which is very much a part of that, and we'll probably talk about that when we talk about this movie. So I will skip over this part. But let me see. Aronofsky denies any connection. So that's
I actually never. I've seen a few of Cohn's movies, but I've never seen Perfect Blue. I'm aware of the comparisons, though.
Yeah, I would agree. That's the same boat. Seems to me he ripped it off.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Okay.
If you have seen it, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on any connections between it, but we have not seen it. So keep up the good work, guys. Chad.
I find it fascinating to think that Daren Aronofsky could spend a decade working on this film and rip it off from someone else. Like, I don't think that that's what he did. There may have been. I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. I can imagine there may be some subconscious or maybe even overt borrowing. But like, I don't know, like literally he thought he was there was one point like where the wrestler and this were like one script and he had to like tear them apart and like separate them, which didn't surprise me at all to learn that. So like to think that it went through all these different versions and that kind of stuff for, again, a decade, like you're not just going to, all right, I spent like a third of my life working on this great piece of art, and I very carefully copied this other screenplay. Like this seems like unintentional to me.
Okay.
Just a guess. I mean, again, I haven't seen the movies. What the fuck do I know?
Well, Daren Aronofsky has, his own personal demons he's working through. By the way, demons is such a dumb phrase. I hate that term. Hey, I got demons. What do you mean? Like they're fictitious demons floating around your brain?
No, you just tell people, I'm dark. I've got a darkness in me.
Sorry, I killed that guy. I got demons.
The most melodramatic way you could say that you're sad.
Yep. My client has demons.
You barely adopted the dog.
It's like a Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, I think that's what he was trying to do. Bane. Tom Hardy as Bane, as Bela Lugosi as
Lunchables,
as Lunchables, as the stale cookie.
Oh God!
As the stale Butterfinger bite.
Wait, they come with Butterfinger bites now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're stepping it up a little bit. They're trying to get people like you in. They're like, hey, Butterfinger bites, come on in.
Yeah, you could spend a fraction of the money on an actual Butterfinger candy bar and probably get more health out of it. get some health out of it, out of that candy.
Get some health out of it. Good call.
I'm a speaker. I speak things.
Well, Chad, thanks for that email, but let's get to quarantine viewing picks. Travis Roy, you're on the board.
I watched some stuff. I went back, Eric, you watched Lake Placid not that long ago, and I had seen it, but I hadn't seen it since it was new, and I thoroughly enjoyed it yet again. Good. I watched a couple movies I'd seen before, like Ratatouille. God, I just fucking love Ratatouille so much I can watch it over and over again. over and over and over again. I think it's one of my favorite movies if I really get down to it. I watched Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. I watched the third one like last year and like went like, this is such trash. How did I ever find any value in this?
Yeah.
But for some reason, I was just compelled to watch the first one. I laughed multiple times, man. I laughed multiple fucking times. And I realized that probably the most quoted movie, that's probably the movie quote I use the most is from that movie, which is pretty standard, really. I've used that movie quote a million fucking times. I'm like, shit, oh yeah, it's Austin Powers. I've been doing over and over again. I'd kind of forgotten.
Well, the first one was funny. It's possible that was funny, and it got worse by the third one. So.
And I think that's the case. The first one was pretty goddamn funny, I gotta say. I watched Velvet Buzzsaw. It really, it didn't do anything for me for this whole Nightcrawler crew to be brought back together and have such a lackluster film. It felt like a 10 or 20 page like horror short story, like a Stephen King thing, just drawn the fuck out, just really drawn out. Like there's not a lot there.
Hated it. Toni Collette, Jake Gyllenhaal. What the fuck happened?
It was dull.
Yeah.
It was dull and predictable and just like, all right, this is really premisey. I watched Devil from 2010 and it wasn't brilliant or anything, but it was a quick 85 minutes and M. Night Shyamalan produced, didn't direct. There's some decent people in there like Logan Marshall Green and Bokeem Woodbine, who I think is a really talented actor. He doesn't get a lot of starring stuff. So I did not hate Devil. Did you see it, Eric?
I dug it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
I dug it,
but it was a decent horror film. A better horror film was 1408 from 2007. I'd never seen this John Cusack
really?
adaptation.
I remember that one big time. I never saw it, but
I'd never gotten around to it. And I didn't love it, but I liked it. It was very faithful to the short story, and I did like that. It was extremely faithful, almost it was one of those almost too faithful ones, but it was pretty good. All right, so I watched this movie called Missing 411: The Hunted. It's a sequel. Are you familiar with these movies, Eric?
No.
It's a sequel. There's two of them. The first one was pretty good. This one was like, okay, now I just feel kind of silly for sitting down and watching this thing. But the idea is like there's this guy who's written like multiple books called like the Missing 411 series, and they're all about like missing persons cases, mostly in forests and woods that like have like similar connections to like similar events surrounding them, and they're unsolved. And they're always like kind of spooky and creepy and supernatural. So it was really, so the first one was really good and like spooky. And then this one was good until like the end when he started to try and like answer what was happening to these people. Then it's like, oh yeah, you just gone like down the rabbit hole here, which I can get on board with some like out there kind of like, ooh, I don't know. But like you start putting them in like a documentary film and it's like, okay, thanks. So I'd recommend the first Missing 411, but not the second one. I gotta say the movie I watched that did me the best this week, it was maybe not a great week for film other than Ratatouille. The movie I watched that I really actually ended up liking was Daybreakers from 2009. I'd never seen this before, but it's got two of my favorite working actors in it, Ethan Hawke and Willem Dafoe, and it's a vampire film, and there's some serious world building here. There could have easily been some sequels and stuff. Not the most intellectual or like hard to predict film, but if you like those two actors and you like supernatural kind of like films, I really liked Daybreakers. I thought it was a very different kind of vampire film, and it's always fun to watch two great actors like that be together.
Nice little Saturday.
Nice little Saturday.
Eric Branstrom, you said you watched a lot of movies, so we're gonna settle in here for this big movie dump coming our way.
Did you kill Jody Schreiber? I watched Just Cause from 1995. I haven't seen it in like 25 years.
I was saving it for the show.
Never saw it.
Were you?
Yeah, I'd mentioned it before, but it's been a while.
I'd tuck it away. It's fucking terrible.
That's kind of why I was on the fence about it.
How
did they smell? I do remember Ed Harris.
Oh man,
film.
It's not good, man. So
okay.
I'd tuck it away.
All right.
I don't know what happened there. It's like the plot is ridiculous. I remember you saying that you watched Freaky, and I couldn't remember. I'm like, did Travis like this or did he not like it? So I watched it.
I didn't particularly care.
Fucking hated it. Like, so lazy and just insipid. It's like, come on. And I like this filmmaker, Christopher Landon, because I like his Happy Death Day movies, both of them.
I didn't like those. Well, I didn't like the first one.
Stupid. I hate it.
Have you seen Final Girls?
No.
Check out Final Girls. That's a much better take on someone taking the Friday the 13th mythology and playing with it in a fun way. It's not like as premisey. It's kind of like a Groundhog Day kind of thing. Well, not Groundhog Day, but people are aware that they're trapped in a Friday the 13th movie, basically, and it's fun. It's fun.
Cool.
We'll
check that out.
Yeah, Freaky, which they clearly wanted to call Freaky Friday or the 13th and couldn't get the rights. Not that great.
Terrible, man. I did really enjoy taking another look back at 1997's Breakdown. Kurt Russell and J.T. Walsh and Captain Quinlan.
I remember
Oh, God. It's solid, Mike. This is a great thriller, man. Like, never get off somewhere in, like, Arizona because you'll fucking get accosted by
it's all the
locals.
Same. U-Turn, Black Rain. I don't know. They all mixed together.
Black Rain, the Michael Douglas
Rain.
movie. Does that take place in Arizona? There's not a lot of rain out there, is there?
Just seems like someone's on the side of the road. There's a semi truck. I don't know.
Yeah,
okay.
It's fun, man, dude. It's a solid thriller. So Jonathan Mostow is the writer and director. This is his only good film. He follows it up with U-571, which is one of the worst.
Oh, it's so
submarine, worst historical
bad.
Movies of all time. And then Terminator 3, Rise of the Machine. So for a first effort, I dig Breakdown. It's a good thriller if you're just looking to kill some time, have some fun, kill your brain cells. I went way back. The Wild One with Marlon Brando, 1954. Fucking fantastic, man. The Bad Seed, 1956. It's one of the first like creepy kid movies.
Yeah, until Paper Moon, that woman was the youngest Academy Award winner.
That's right. Pat McCormick is fucking fantastic in it. Yeah. Kills a kid with their fucking ice skates or some shit. Like, check it out, man. For 1956, it's pretty sobering horror. Okay. So finally, I did a kids digging in their backyard double feature. Can you figure them out?
Did you watch Psycho Gorman?
No, I didn't.
Oh, fuck. Watch Psycho Gorman.
Mike, kids digging in their backyard film?
The Gate?
I was going to say The Gate or Stay Tuned. Do they dig at all? Or they just tear down. They're just in the backyard.
You talking holes?
Or, what about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Are they digging? I don't know.
Who knows? I like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So, Travis, kudos, man. That was one of them. I'll get to that one. Believe me, I will get to that one.
Which one?
First one, The Gate. First one was Encino Man, dude. I fucking love Encino. It's so fun. It never gets old for me, period. It just reminds me of being like 12 and renting this from the Meyer video store. I love it, man. And God bless Brendan Fraser, man. This is a natural, great comedic talent. What was that face, Mike?
Well, someone keeps sending me that picture of him. I don't know why it's stuck in my head.
That face.
Remember he's all ballooned up?
Well, he's a man, you know. He's
dude,
a man.
It's not that. He had a debilitating knee and I think a back injury that put him out. And you know what medication can do to you and stuff like that. So, so it's not, it's not his fault, Mike. It's not his fault.
It's not. I don't blame him. I mean, poor bastard. You know. When are we gonna do a Pauly Shore movie on this? I wonder if we'll ever do a Pauly Shore movie on this.
Not until we got around to Freddie Got Fingered. We do Freddie Got Fingered first.
You get a guest host.
Son-in-law?
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it.
Kind of heartfelt.
So yeah, man, The Gate, dude. I haven't watched this since I was like, and this is the most perplexing thing. I'm sitting there watching this, and it's been 30 years. I hardly remember anything about it. In the first half hour, I'm like, okay, this would like be a great introduction to horror movies for like my daughter or like kids.
Yeah. And
then it keeps going. And I literally get scared like 10 times as a 41-year-old man. Like, what the fuck is this? How did I watch this all the time as like a 7-year-old kid? I was fucking seriously freaked out. Turned the lamp on beside my nightstand. Like I was scared.
Eric's scared of the TV.
When those little weird demons start running around, I looked at my arm. I had goosebumps. I don't know.
Terrifying.
I mean, The Gate is fucking awesome.
It's good.
And
I like that we're talking about it again. That's becoming like a Paul Schrader for this show.
It is becoming. Yes, it is. Because I watched it. You watched it. Now you watched it.
But there are three of us, and sometimes we watch movies.
So yeah, I'm trying to cap off the Kids Digging in Their Backyard trilogy. So if you have any suggestions, email them.
Psycho Gorman.
Okay. Okay. Is that the cover box where like that weird looking creature that looks like classic Hollywood USA costume?
Yeah. Yes.
It looks so bad. It's good.
It's fucking great.
Okay. All right. I'll check it out.
It is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on acid.
It looks like fucking Ivan Ooze on the cover. I'm like, how do I do this?
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Aside from those, man,
Aaron Worley also loves it. He recommended it to.
He likes the worst '80s horror trash I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
I watched The People versus Whitey Bulger. It's one of the worst documentaries I've. It's so dry and like uninteresting and unentertaining for being about one of the most infamous criminals in the 20th century. This is like such a tepid documentary, so I can't recommend it. But
was it more tepid than Black Mass?
I like Black Mass, dude. I think fucking Black Mass is fucking awesome.
I love Depp's performance, but I thought it was a pretty dull.
Someone needs to do a YouTube re-edit where they cut out all of the Joel Edgerton character's part and then just have it only on the rest of the people, and it would be a great fucking movie.
I feel like it's also pretty long, right? Wasn't it?
It's because of this pointless hey, how are we gonna catch him? Like scenes, procedural horse shit. But that's it.
Yeah, like Benedict Cumberbatch is like kind of in it. It's weird.
Yeah, terrible accent, Mike.
So I was in Toronto. I was on a trip for like 4 or 5 days in Canada. Toronto, Niagara Falls. Niagara on the Lake is also outside of Niagara Falls. Lovely area.
Travis, you've never been to Niagara Falls either?
It's on my list.
How breathtaking is this? Because I've only seen it in Superman 2 when
that's all I think about when I was there.
That's all I've seen it in.
That's all I was thinking about.
That's all I know about Niagara Falls. That's how
I think it'd be awesome.
Him refusing to reveal himself to Lois by getting that limb on the tree and bye baby. There she goes.
Is it as breathtaking as it is in Superman 2?
It is. Yeah.
Wow.
It's the Maid of the Mist still exists, and that's cool. I've never been on the boats, but I watch people go on them. Very busy, very touristy. I'd recommend getting one of the hotel. We got a hotel room on the 21st floor, so you could see like on it, and that was cool.
That's cool.
Right on the and that's it. Don't go do anything. There's a beautiful park side.
Don't get a hotel. Don't leave.
don't jump into it because the view may be breathtaking, but you'll die.
Yeah,
that's right. He saves that little kid, and then he exposes himself to Lois.
Too.
It's
he exposes himself. I don't know that part of the movie.
That's an unrated version.
Reveals.
That happens in Black Swan too.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, it does. So I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of movies, but I thought I came back and I watched something, but I can't find out.
You can't find out what movie you watched?
Did you finish The Sopranos?
Yeah,
that's a couple weeks ago.
I finished I've caught up on the podcast that Michael Imperioli and Steve.
I started listening to that.
Are they at each other's throats still?
Yeah, the dissolution of a friendship podcast. But unfortunately, I've caught up. So now, I'm like, do I really want to wait a week? And because I've got like 9 episodes left. I'm like, I'm not going to wait a week for the last 9 episodes. So I'm just going to barrel through them and listen to the episodes after they come out, I guess.
Also, my power went out for almost 24 hours again, which is just fucking ridiculous. It's just
bad luck over there. Bad grid.
It's stupid. 7 times this summer. 7 times.
7 times.
This is 2021.
How long this time?
It was about 20 hours.
Jeez.
Wow.
So that ruined. Darn it! I had to go walking. I had to go walk to the. I had to walk to the local Big B and have coffee and use their internet for I'm the guy there for 6 hours. We're closing,
God.
sir. I'm like, oh God, all right, well,
gotta go back to my dark home.
I need your internet. But I remember now. I got it. So right. I never saw this movie. 1998's Bill Paxton, Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 99. It's
99. But...
Never saw that one. A Simple Plan.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Yeah.
I thought it was. I thought the dialogue was outstanding. They really try to set this tone of a natural feel. They're trying to set up this could really, really happen more than other movies. It didn't seem formulaic, even though it is a formulaic type play out.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty well done. But it's it's so bizarro too. So it's strange. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you, but I did find it curious.
I talked about it on the show a few months. I'm sorry, Travis. Go ahead, please.
Oh, that's okay. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I talked about it maybe a handful of episodes ago. Like, we've got a fucking great performance by Billy Bob Thornton, but this script, I think I called it like gift shop book script. It's just like, all right, it's like beat by beat, just like cliche form. I call it so completely formulaic. Like, and then they'll deal with this. Then this will happen. Then oh fuck.
Well, I haven't seen it in a while, but I have a theory that immediately as I thought of it, felt really right to me. You know, Sam Raimi and the Coens are real close. They're good buddies. And I feel like this is Sam Raimi shooting this shot for a Coen brothers style kind of film. Like he's trying to
after Fargo.
Yeah, he's trying to genre shift right after Fargo. Yeah.
Tons of snow in this movie.
He genre shifted before with that Western with Sharon Stone, but like he was trying to
The Quick and the Dead.
The Quick and the Dead. Yeah, I never did catch that one.
That's trash.
I skipped it.
This wasn't trash though, so you know, if you never saw it, I never saw it. I'm glad I went and checked it out. I thought, Eric, that the script was people trying to figure things out. I didn't think it was beat by beat. I thought they just kept making mistakes, and that's what people do.
Sam Smith, I think, he got this huge acclaim after this novel, and it's like he just watched I'm sorry, that's so dumb. It's so like millennial of me to say just watch, but just read Of Mice and Men by Steinbeck and was like, oh, how about like this, but with like crime and they find money. Same fucking story. It's like,
I thought they were doing like a DB Cooper ripoff.
You got to kill the brother because he's dumb. It's like,
yeah, like money in a plane. Oh my god, yeah, whatever. Okay.
Like
and Gary Cole shows up later in the movie, which is fun. So.
Bridget Fonda, I mean, you can't go wrong. What am I talking about? I'd watch her do laundry for 8 hours. Love Bridget Fonda.
It sounds boring.
She's kind of just there though. It's not great for her. I feel like she's misused in the movie, but yeah, she does play a key role in it too. I will say. Anyway, check it out.
She's better in Lake Placid, is what you're saying?
I've never seen Lake Placid. I've heard people talk about it. So.
It's fucking awesome.
Sounds shocking.
You're into CGI alligators. This is your movie.
So did I mention that I watched Saving Silverman last week, right?
You did, yes.
Yeah, we made fun of you.
Well, you did.
I was watching it. I didn't actually finish it. So I finished it, and I want to just take one more moment on this movie because I think I made it pretty clear that it was like really I don't know, it's not going to hold up in today's world.
Oh no, I wouldn't.
They kidnap a woman first off to save their friend. And there's a ton of references to gay stuff, like someone's gay, or like gay homophobic jokes go on, but also Jack Black comes out as gay, and then the movie ends with him and Arlie Ermy kissing and getting married, which is like, this is amazing. Yeah, that's like holy. I'm like, wait, is Arlie Ermy really gonna kiss him on screen?
Army.
Is Army gonna do it? And he does it. I'm like, oh, this is fucking great. So the movie's got some cringeworthy moments, but then it's like, wow, this holds up in that aspect. It's a fucking bizarre ass movie with nuns doing workouts because they can't have sex. It's fucking power squats. It's so weird. It's a weird movie, man.
Also, speaking of last week, Eric, I would like to apologize formally on the show for yelling at you and screaming profanity at you during your reveal of whether or not Wolf held up, and I felt bad after the fact, and I wanted to apologize on the air.
I also wanted to apologize for saying that Wolf does not hold up. I want to make it completely clear that I love Wolf and I think it holds up. So that was a 2 versus 1 vote officially.
Okay, I will say this: I've gotten tons of feedback on that episode. We just got some from Chad too, so it struck a chord. Whatever we said, however it went, people,
clearly,
yeah.
Well, I thought I had reached the point where I stopped bringing in movies that I had emotional attachment to, but clearly not. So,
and lastly, I threw on Barry Levinson's The Natural, just because I felt like watching it. So
that was Barry Levinson.
So you did watch a few movies.
Yeah, I did watch a couple of movies. That is Barry Levinson. That's before Rain Man. That's his early work, man.
I think what year? Like The Bat was magic.
84.
Wow. Is that the plot, Mike? Is like the bat magic and like he like is like old, but like the bat is magical? What the fuck is The Natural?
It's the most famously butchered ending from the story version to the film version, I think, in movie history.
Oh wow. Yeah, I never read the book. The Bat is called Wonder Boy, and it's special, but
that is so dumb.
But he's also the super talent, but
it's special.
It's actually a good talent. How things they don't go the way you think they're gonna go, and it's not just like straight through. Like I'm the guy, and it's all gonna work out.
Why is the bat special? What is his plot?
It was struck by lightning. A tree was struck by lightning while he was growing up, so they decided to make a bat out of the tree that died.
That's not regulation. Is this like an Inflategate thing?
Hey, I laughed at a sports joke. I got
that.
I
made a sports joke.
You made a sports joke. Look at us.
Myself on the back.
Look at us.
I don't even know what's happening right now. Yeah,
this is tell you who those teams were.
Is Deary watching this? Deary,
what team is?
It's crazy. So. Anyways, yeah, The Natural's it's a good movie. It's weird. They did a good job of Robert Redford's like 55 already at that point, and he's supposed to be a youngster. No. He's supposed to be a teenager, like a 19-year-old. Yeah, but they didn't. They just used him straight up. They had 2 kids play him as the children, and then by the time he goes to get the big call to the baseball big leagues, he's like 18, and him and Glenn Close make love in a barn, but they're supposed to be like 18 years old. But they have tons of shadows, so it's like, oh, well, you never know. I don't know, it could be them.
In the 80s, you had like 40-year-olds playing teenagers on a regular basis.
Yep,
they didn't even try.
Yep.
Oh, what a day. All right, well, there it is. Quarantine Movie Picks. We hope you enjoyed what we had to offer, and if you didn't, well, there's nothing we can do about it. I don't know. We try to do better next time. That's all I can tell you. But on the Cinema Night podcast, every week, we do one movie in particular, and we decide, does it hold up or not? And this week's is Daren Aronofsky's 2010 film, Black Swan, starring Natalie Portman, Mila Kunis, Vincent Cassel, and
cassette tape.
Barbara Hershey, who was in The Natural. So she looked a lot older. I saw her in The Natural, and then I threw this movie, and I was like, whoa, time has passed. So, gentlemen, 2010. Travis, can you take us back in time? Did you remember watching Black Swan in the theater? I feel like you would. It seemed like an easy call.
I don't remember if I saw this in theaters or not. I don't know. I do not have the memory of my life that you do, my friend. I delete things pretty quickly.
My life.
I don't remember. It's gone.
You don't remember wandering into a theater because you needed air conditioning like Mike does?
I don't remember what I ate
on
the way in. Like, no, I don't remember this fucking shit about my life.
That saved my life. Castaway, thank you.
Yep.
I think I saw it in theaters. Because I feel like, I know there was Oscar buzz, and I think I saw it because of that. Either that or I saw it like as soon as it was released. Because I remember like it was like, an Oscar contender or whatever. So I watched it that year. That's all I
People
remember.
like the Oscars.
And I hadn't seen it since.
Wow. All right. Coming off The Wrestler, I'm sure you were excited to see this, Eric.
Dude, I saw it opening night at the Michigan Theater, one of the most beautiful, ornate theaters in the United States of America, because I love Daren Aronofsky, man. You're talking to one of the biggest wrestler fans you'll ever meet in your entire life. So I was anticipating this since day one. I walked out of the theater blown away. I was speechless. Everyone went to Fleetwood. I sat there catatonic in disbelief at what I had just seen, but I haven't seen it since.
Okay. I definitely saw this movie around that time, but I don't remember an exact theater viewing, though. It might have been a DVD watch, and I don't have a good recollection, but I definitely remember watching it.
All right. I feel better.
Yeah, I got nothing. Yeah, I got nothing for you. So,
do you remember, Travis, when we had the Oscar party and we celebrated Black Swan by drinking Black Swan wine?
It was at your wife's father's cabin?
Yeah, man. Remember?
What were we drinking? Black Swan what?
We drank Black Swan like wine, like the label is Black Swan wine.
Yeah, I do remember
in appreciation of Black Swan.
Yeah.
And then in appreciation of the King's speech, I prepared some beautiful Cornish hens. Because
yes, I do recall.
British food.
There was some hot tub hanging out.
Yep,
and my favorite thing about it is that we called it an Oscar party, even though there was 3 of us.
Yeah. Why we called it anything is beyond me. It was just 3 of us.
Yeah, that was a good night. I do remember that. Definitely.
Wow.
Beautiful
well, that
Eclair
sounds
you
like
brought
fun.
that time too.
Yeah, remember that Eclair in Vegas? Man, that was good. All right, so Black Swan on IMDb. Anybody got a guess?
I'm gonna assume pretty high.
Yeah.
I'll just say 7.6.
Dude, I'm gonna say 8.5 for IMDb.
I'm gonna say like a 7.3. I feel like this. I'm going to go 7.3. That's my take. And the actual answer is 8.0.
Wow. For once, like all three of us had not seen it. I think that's the first time that's happened literally in months.
I'm trying to avoid it.
Me too.
Often. It's in the
8
top
8.3?
8.0.
8.0. That's huge. That's enormous.
That is. That's special territory. It's in the top 500 on IMDb in terms of popularity, which is always a list they keep going. So people liked it from all vantage points. I guess that's fair to say, right?
It's fair, I guess.
Society has issues, but I mean, society. And on RottenTomatoes.com, everyone's favorite website for categorizing movies, because we can't just enjoy it. We have to categorize it. We have to label it. We got to
overanalyze it to death with a podcast.
Yeah. By choice.
Yeah, I've got to, mister. 80.
Huh? I heard that too.
85% for the critics. 84%. 1% difference between audience and critic score. That's as tight as it gets for us, folks.
I blame Goody Coons.
Goody Coons. I'm sure he's going to have... Blame it on Goody Coons. Yeah. All right. So as far as the critics, what they had to say, Goody Coons, I don't know if he's busy. He had something to do. He might have been sick that day. Maybe he had diarrhea. I don't know.
Do we have Desson Thompson in the house?
Well, we'll be looking for him. No guarantees on this.
Actually, 2010, I think he was. I'm not sure if he was still working in 2010.
Yeah, this is that gray area again where it might not be available to us. How about this? How about Michael Compton of the Bowling Green Daily News?
Oh, yeah. Love Bowling Green. Both of them.
Don't we? Yeah, they're both great. While some of the cringe-inducing moments do work, the film eventually veers way out of control with a final act that sends the film sailing off the tracks into another atmosphere.
In a good way or a bad way? What do they mean?
Literally?
It's a splat.
Oh, it's a splat.
Bad review.
Okay. Yeah. I really wasn't sure where we're taking that one. All right.
No one knows. Sean Fennessy of The Ringer, I know his work. It's a sensory overload, loud, furious, and rapturous. Jesus. It remains the best, most...
Again, with this volume critique, turn it down.
Yeah. Overload loud. Weird. Overload dash loud. It remains the best, most visceral work from virtually every single person involved in the production.
Whoa, that's high praise.
Yeah.
That's super praise. From everyone involved. We got...
there's some big hitters in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell, man? Anybody agree with that?
I mean, I don't know that I disagree with it. I'll have to think about it. I mean, it's one of Portman's best roles, which is saying a lot.
I think I'll say it's Matthew Lebidicu, the cinematographer's best shot film. So I think that's where I'll give it up.
Well, everyone was concerned about where you stood on the cinematographer.
I got that last name right.
They always are. They're always asking, what is
it? Is well shot. You're right about that.
Yeah. What is Eric thinking about? Yeah, it doesn't look like Destin was available for this one. He was a very busy boy at the time, which is tragic. But we have Rafer Guzman from Newsday. He says, practice makes perfectly insane in Black Swan, a tale of one ballerina's psychosexual freakout.
It sounds so lurid when they phrase it that way, but they're 100% accurate as to what they're describing.
Yeah.
Psychosexual freakout.
It is a psychosexual freakout. I mean, they're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
Lisa Kennedy of the Denver Post says, at times Black Swan verges on laughably old school. Still, what a brazen, bold riff on the cost, physical, emotional of art.
Okay. Well,
next.
Yeah. Well, let's move on.
Come on. What about Goody Coons?
Let's get into our own opinions.
What about Goody Coons?
If Goody Coons is in there, then by all means, let's Goody.
Yes, I just found him. All right, hell yeah.
Take it all back. Bring us the Goody Coons.
Top critic, by the way, Bill Goody Coons of the Arizona Republic. Yes, he is a top critic. Taking in the too much is never enough vein. Black Swan is a fantastic experience. 4.5 out of 5 stars.
I give it 4.5 Goody Coonses out of 5 Goody Coonses.
Oh God! If we ever get to do a show with Goody Coons and Destin Thompson, I'll just retire.
He's waiting, looking at his phone, waiting to be hit up by us like Destin was. He's like, why don't they want to message me?
He's like, they talk about Destin again. They're talking about fucking Destin again.
Destin.
All right, so this movie pisses me off. It was a tough watch for me. I'm just going to throw this out there.
Right, Mike?
I was annoyed by it. I absolutely 100%. I fired up the old skip button for this one a bit. What? It was just like, come on, dude. Fuck this. Fuck this. Fuck this. It bothered me. It bothered me a lot. I don't know if the movie put me on edge and if I wanted to get it over with more quickly. I was willing to give the movie credit for that. It sets a tremendous atmosphere, but one thing I just don't know if I care about a ballerina's plight. I'm just going to throw that out there off the top.
But you love sports.
This isn't sports.
She's an athlete, dude. What are you talking about? This is very much about.
She's an athlete.
This is about performance perfection and the concern of being able to perform with your body when need be, and also aging and your body breaking down from overuse. Like this is very. I thought this would hit right in your wheelhouse because like this is like to me it's very athletic film.
That Travis just nailed it, Mike. I mean, I'm confused because. In my opinion, I love all, and you know me, I love all dance movies. Drumline, Save the Last Dance, all that jazz. My personal favorite. I've talked about this many times. Anytime there's like a dance, I just block it. Anytime there's like a dance studio, there's people in there. I love the film. That's the first 15 minutes of this movie. I think are sublime, and I got right into the atmosphere of the dynamic of this troupe and everything. So, come on, Mike. What are you?
I didn't. It actually got better for me as we went into the movie more. I was just like, the opening is like, I don't care. This woman lives with her mother. It's pathetic and sad. That's too bad. And her mother's a nut job, and that sucks. And
I will say, going back to your point about it, like kind of like how it made you feel, right? A movie, and we've talked about this movie in a negative way quite a few times. And for all of my dislike of this film, it's become a cultural reference point. Uncut Gems. This is a movie that definitely, like Uncut Gems, explores anxiety and like mental, like you're experiencing a mental health break, like in real time. But unlike Uncut Gems, like while this movie, like it just escalates and escalates and escalates, and like you just feel yourself clenching more and more as you watch it. I can watch it, like I still find it entertaining. Uncut Gems is like that feeling without the entertainment, without like a story that I care about. And so I definitely agree that this movie like makes you feel a way that's not great, and that's certainly intentional, but I do find it watchable.
That's a great reference. So this is also like one of Eric's favorites. It's just like Whiplash in a way too.
It is a carbon copy. Well, Whiplash is a carbon copy of this, but you think about another Aronofsky picture, and almost all of them, Requiem for a Dream. This is a film you don't sit there with popcorn and pop and enjoy, but you get so much out of it. Is it the same with Black Swan?
I think, I think that's. I find it like I'm realizing that I really have some. I really go like I love or hate, like or hate Aronofsky films because I like this. I like Wrestler. I think Requiem for a Dream I've gone back and forth on.
Yeah, Mother.
But like I fucking hate Mother, which I'm not going to go on and on about it this episode. I promise. But I fucking hate Mother. I thought The Fountain was trash. I don't think I'll ever watch that Noah's Ark movie. I just can't bring myself.
I've seen that one.
How was that?
God. Oh God, what a bore.
So he's real hit and miss for me, I guess is where I'm going with this.
Okay. Yeah, he is hit and miss. And what he does in this movie, this is another thing that bothered me is this transformational shit bothered me with the wings developing. I'm like, he's trying to sell it to me, and the way the movie ends, it kind of comes back around. You're like, oh shit, this woman is just going through a tremendous mental breakdown.
That's the thing, man. Mike, I'm so sorry, but I can't. I have to. Earlier, one of the critics called it a freak out, and we're talking about a film here with Black Swan that legitimately deals with psychosis and in particular schizophrenia, in my opinion, and to treat it like a freak out, quote unquote, or like a horror movie or something fun or cool, or
there's jump scares in this movie too. That's stupid.
I got a huge problem with how they treat mental illness in this film. I'll say that, and we'll have a lot more to talk about.
There are literal jump scares in this movie. He's trying to do the stuff. He is not trying to set up a final act, in my opinion. He is trying to fuck with you.
So I remember the first time I watched this movie, I thought this movie's complicated. It's this complex film. I got to, try and follow it. And this time watching, I did not feel like that at all. Like this movie, this is really a basic story. Like this is a super basic story. So once you accept that, like you're gonna be fucked with some because she's dealing with psychosis, like it becomes a real easy story to follow. Like this is a woman who's already had all kinds of mental health issues because she's repressed and overly mothered. Like the woman won't let her change out of her own clothes. She can't even, she doesn't even have privacy to masturbate. Like her mother has already fucked her up. And when like that scratch rash shows up on her shoulders, she's like, oh, again, that's happening again. So this was like an ongoing thing.
Well,
so to like kind of see this all build to a head, it makes sense that it ends in a psychic break, and for me, or psychotic break, I should say. So I can't diagnose by any means, but it seemed very realistic to me on my experiences with mental health and other people's experiences with mental health in similar kind of situations that I've talked about. The way that pressure can take already existing issues and greatly exacerbate them.
So let's talk about the quote unquote wings starting to form on her scapula. I think this is maybe clearly or not so clearly her picking at herself because of her I wouldn't say OCD, but I'd definitely say obsessive type.
Oh, it's a skin disorder. I was watching the Amazon version. They have the X-ray trivia with the IMDb stuff mixed in there, and that part where she pulls that nail off, the skin in the nail, it's a real thing they diagnose.
Well, that's her like completely not understanding how to treat a hangnail. But between that and her just like clearly
she did. That's just her not knowing how to treat a hangnail.
Well, it doesn't even happen though. It's not. It doesn't even happen.
Well, I was excited to talk to you about this, Mike, because Mike hosts another podcast. He co-hosts a podcast called First Day Pod, where they get into a lot of mental health issues. And it's a fantastic podcast that I encourage everyone to see. He does it with his girlfriend, Leanne. Hello. And they talk ad nauseum about particular states of, mental disability, or however you want to label that or not label that. And I think this film hints at it, but in a unhealthy way. They make it entertainment and they turn it into a horror film. They turn it into a genre film, and it becomes stupid and silly at a certain point. How do you feel like they treat the stigma and authenticity of derangement and possible schizophrenia in this film?
They don't. They're trying. I truly believe it. I'm not going to be talked out of it. I don't believe. I'm willing to hear opinions still. He's trying to misdirect this as this woman's just descending into madness. Now, I've never heard him talk about the film, so I can't speak to what his intentions were specifically. But to me, that's how it lays out. Seeing this movie again, I saw it when it came out. I'm seeing it now. That's what you have here. And it's trying to be set up like there's these two swans, right? The black and the white swan. She's obviously the white swan, Vincent Cassel's character, who apparently was based on a scumbaggy, famous ballet director in New York, started the New York Ballet Company or something like that. And he used a lot of sexual drive to push his dancers, which doesn't seem great. Maybe I don't feel like they would feel it's not good.
It's like the least professional shit when he's doing that in the movie. It's just like amazing.
Yeah, right. And this is based on real shit, apparently.
Yeah, it's like classic, hey, I'm an artist, so I can grope you and assault you.
It's Weinstein shit. Weinstein.
It is. That's true. That's very true. But she needs to become the Black Swan. She's a tactical perfect when it comes to all the little moves, but she doesn't have the insides of the Black Swan, which is like this unspoken or like this thing you can see with body language that apparently Mila Kunis' character has completely. So they're trying to lay it out like she's got to descend into madness to get this Black Swan out of her, and she's being driven by this guy to make that happen. And that's it. That's how they lay it out to me. I don't see it laid out in any other way.
To me, it's about how imbalanced she is. And that's what her mother has done to her. Like her mother, she tells her like, I don't want the same thing to happen to you that happened to me, because she was 28. Her career was already over, but she clearly had forced this whole life on her daughter. And that scene where we don't even get like this hyper abusive scene, but like that scene where Barbara Hershey is ready to throw out this beautiful cake, and Nina has to like smile through it, and you realize like she is just always walking on eggshells here, trying to like be the perfect woman. So like her whole life, she's only let herself be the white swan. So like the psychotic break that's coming isn't just the pressure. It's definitely not just Vincent Cassel's character, Thomas. It's mostly the mother. It's the upbringing, because she's out of balance with herself. There is a darkness in her, like there is in everybody. I love the moment. It's a little heavy-handed, but I really like the moment when there's this shot where it goes to Thomas, and he's talking about how everyone has the white and the black in him, and as he says that, like there's this, it's like the camera like does this shot that's like dividing him in the mirror. So there's two of him saying that, and I get from that like everybody has this white and black swan in them, right? Everyone's got this, and if you shove one down all the way, eventually you're gonna pop, you're gonna break. You have to find like this balance in yourself. So to me, like that's what the story was about, and it was all
it's about that. In the way that Daren Aronofsky decides to he didn't write the script, but he assisted it, and he probably had a huge hand in it. The way he delivers it is the same way that people have been making these movies about psychosis since the 60s with something like Repulsion by Roman Polanski. You have these characters, and they're usually female. In the case of Repulsion and Carrie, where these women normally have these faults, and they need to be liberated from them, and they can't just be liberated from them. They have to suffer and die as a result of gaining their freedom. Because the same thing here in 2010, and I'm fucking sick of it. Say something.
It's an allegory of the Swan Lake story, right?
That's true. It is supposed to be. I mean, it's fucking Swan Lake.
Modernize
that is
it.
Part of this.
You're attempting to modernize it within this film,
right?
So take the next step. Do something like, I don't like either A Beautiful Mind or The Soloist, but you've got people with these mental issues, and you're telling the audience something about what you can do about them. You're not just victimizing them and then saying, let's kill them off because it's interesting or fun or cool to look at.
I think that I think you make some really good points there. Some of this is pretty tired, but I also think that like this is a cautionary tale in a very large way. Like throughout the movie, like there's recurring moments where she's not attending her physical or mental health. Like she sees that there's something physically wrong with her, or she knows that there's something mentally wrong with her, and she literally like shoves it under the rug, pushes it aside. I am too busy. What I'm doing right now is too important. My work is blah blah blah. And I think we've like everybody kind of does that from time to time. I did it today.
What about with Beth though? Like she's the only one that we see go to see Beth in the hospital twice at least.
Yeah,
she seems to take an interest in who Beth was and cares about her. It shows that like, wow,
she's looking for answers.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
what you're laying out there is like she doesn't take care of herself, but she does stop to kind of ponder what's going on in this company and where she could end up being, right?
She stops to get answers about what's happening to her. This is a passive protagonist in the worst way. She's a victim from start to finish. I don't feel much of anything for her throughout the entire film. Sorry.
Oh, I feel great heaps of empathy for her throughout the film. Actually, I find it pretty excruciating to watch. That's why I didn't go back for a long time, and I found it kind of excruciating last night, because I feel like you're just watching this person like slip through the cracks, and all the people in her life who should care about her are hung up on their own shit. And she's like in this like this atmosphere where excellence is the only thing that's valued, and anything less is garbage. And the way that she just tries to meet all these other people's expectations of her and treat their dreams like they're hers. I find it all just incredibly tragic. I find the film just this. I mean, maybe a bit maudlin, sure. I mean, there's some misfires, but I find it to be an effective tragedy.
It's definitely an effective tragedy, and my concern with the Black Swan, the impetus to become her is the opposite of everything her mother has pushed her to, and the impetus is Cassel's character. When he's telling her every time he's got these nuggets of wisdom about what she needs to do, right? Whether the guy's a scumbag. We get it. We understand that. But he's trying to push her in this direction to get the most out of her. But every time he does that, what he's basically saying is, get the fuck away from your mother. Your mother is totally controlling your lifestyle, and you need to break free of that. And therefore, if you could break free of her, not only will you have a great performance, but you'll also have a better life in the long run. So he is trying to help her, even though he has some fucking devious fucking means to do so.
Which makes it kind of compelling to watch, to have a character like that is trying to kind of like that actually is helping her, as you say, but his motivations are so shitty and he's so unprofessional and such a scumbag that you're like, oh, you're doing this in such a fucking shitty way. So I find that compelling to watch.
I watch a movie like this and I'm saying, is this trying to dispel meekness and say that you have to be assertive in this world? Anyone that is meek is just weak and will not go anywhere regardless of their talent? Or are they trying to motivate people like this?
I think I've already kind of made my point, but I think that I don't think it's against meekness as it is against an imbalance in oneself. Like to let yourself flourish and be the fully actualized human being that you could be, rather than trying to submit to your parental or like other authority figures.
Yeah, don't be submissive.
It gets compared to Whiplash quite a bit. Now, Whiplash is a film that I think is 10 out of 10, A+ masterpiece. And in my opinion, is because Neiman, his drive and passion are the things that propel him into being this perfectionist about his art. Whereas Nina, perhaps it's vague, perhaps it's not, but we don't really know how she feels about ballet or dance itself. We just see her wanting to be good at it. I don't know if that's a problem or if it's interesting.
That's why she doesn't have the passion that Lily has, because she's always just been trying to please her mother. She's always just been trying to do as instructed, be a good girl, be a white swan, like that. So she's excellent at it because through practice. But the passion
her
really
mother
isn't
was going
there.
to be a ballet. She was, and then she gave up. She said, "I gave it all up to have you." Right. So then she pushed it on her.
I think that's a problem. For me, I'm sorry, Travis. For me, I don't really care what happens to her so much, because it's where her motivation goes. It's not this internal passion to be good because she cares and has the drive. It's just because that's what she's supposed to do.
Well, not supposed to. That's what she thinks she's supposed to do, right? And that's the problem.
Yeah, the same thing.
Again, like this performance literally kills her. It's perfect, but it literally kills her. So at what cost is this performance, right? Like, so the whole thing is like, she would be better had she just left her mother, followed her own dreams, followed her own path, found balance. Like, it's not like the psychotic break that she has. I don't think that's schizophrenia. I don't think it's like a mental disease that she would have regardless of where she was in her life. I think that that's a result of years and years of coal being crushed, and it doesn't turn into a diamond. It just finally pops, right? Like she did her best, and the pressure was just too much for her.
We also have Mila Kunis in this movie, and I'm curious what you guys think. Was she able to, you think she was able to hang in this? Because she doesn't have a lot of roles like this. It's a very heavy comedy-oriented career for her, for the most part. Rom-coms and the Family Guy stuff and everything she did with Ted and all that.
Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah, don't forget, Mike. Come on now.
Don't forget Jupiter Ascending. I'm
going to be honest with you. When it comes to like the bathroom break, do I pause it? Do I not pause it? Scale I put on this on all films. I just went to the bathroom, didn't care during the scene where they go clubbing and all that happens, because
you missed Sebastian Stan.
You did.
I'm okay with that. But
okay.
It's a big debut.
I think this may have worked better as like maybe a period piece, maybe something taking place. Maybe it'd be a little more interesting than they go to the club, take ecstasy, and like maybe sleep around, maybe don't. That whole like 30 minutes is kind of boring to me.
It's literally like 5 minutes.
But it seems to contrast the world of the New York Ballet and this classical stage that this atmosphere is in. I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. They're gonna go party and this will happen.
It's an important scene. It's an important scene because like it's literally the first time in her life where she gives her mother the long finger and goes to act like a person her age, and in fact younger. So like, and she actually lives her life. She sees Lily spike her drink and makes the choice to drink it anyways. comes to and finds herself making out with a stranger. It gets kind of dark. But I found that scene. And I also really, really liked, and maybe you missed this while you were in the bathroom, but for a split moment,
quite a bit,
when she's on the dance floor, you see her as the Black Swan. You see the makeup, you see the whole bit. And so and I like that you get, like, it's when she bites, when she bites Vincent Cassel, when she's on the dance floor, and when she tells him, like, I'm fucking doing this. This is my role. She has these moments of real strength and steeliness in her where she lets loose and I really like those moments when the Black Swan shows up, especially when it really does show up, because it's like towards the end of the movie, it's really, really brief. She turns back into the White Swan, but my God, that earned her the Oscar right there. When she shows up as the Black Swan, forget the makeup, forget the red eyes, like the performance, what she's doing, she's like someone else. Like she's transcendent.
That's what they're supposed to be. Transcendence. That's what Toma wanted. Toma. Yeah, wanted to be transcendent. But Mila Kunis, to me, I guess maybe I've just seen her too many comedies. When she's in a scene, she's just kind of doing this thing where she kind of turns her head and she frumps a little bit. And Mila Kunis. And
that's supposed to be her being like carefree and impulsive.
Well, she's perfect for that. She is perfect for that. That's true.
And she looks a little bit like Natalie Portman, which was the whole reason she got cast, right? Like
just like Phantom Menace.
She's friends with Natalie Portman, which I guess is. I read Wikipedia too. So I guess that's why she ended up being cast in the role. But there's this whole doppelganger thing happening throughout it, which I think that has a lot to do with why she's in the movie. And I don't think that she brings the movie down. I think that she
she doesn't.
Perfect for the role. She's a carefree, easy breezy individual, don't give a fuck, and doesn't really understand like the issues, because she's clearly been alone for, like, you get the feeling this person's been in control of her life for a long time. She's a rolling stone.
I fear while watching it and here in retrospect is that this movie would benefit from a little bit more subtlety. I'm watching it. I'm like, oh yeah, she's not going to be real. Whenever they're showing like the mirrors, it's like, this is all so odd. You're going to do the whole Fight Club, the whole Shutter Island. Like, it's not real thing.
I skipped that whole segment in the dressing room where she stabs her and stuff. Like, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? I'm not even kidding.
I don't know that Aronofsky's the man to go to for restraint.
And that's the thing, because you talk about this being a parallel of the Swan Lake play. And yes, in plays and ballet and opera, you have these archetypes, these caricatures. But in this film, all of the characters just seem like one-dimensional. The crazy mother that used to be a ballet, the Winona Ryder, and you know how I love Winona Ryder. She used to be they seem so one-dimensional.
Showgirls connections here, by the way. Same thing. That's how Showgirls goes.
Sure.
Elizabeth Berkley's character takes over. Gina Gershon is the Winona Ryder, and then there's a dance. That's a dance movie. I thought Eric would be into that. He loves his dance movie.
This is Perfect Blue meets striptease? What are we talking about? I forget.
Yeah, okay. So Chad mentioned that in the email with Perfect Blue and the shots for shots in some instances in that Japanese anime classic, which I've never seen. Travis never saw it either, right? So.
My friend Kevin keeps trying to get me to watch it. I think if this movie was an anime, or it's had some sort of different iteration, it might be a little bit more interesting to me as like a genre piece, which I think is what it is. It's like a horror movie with some dramatic elements. It's just I don't find it that interesting anymore.
I cannot see it as a horror movie personally. I don't get a horror element. I get, this is straight drama for me. This is like maybe psychodrama.
Like if you've seen any Dario Argento or Mario Bava film, this is straight paranoia horror to the 10th degree, with like all the neck stretching and the fingernails and the painting screaming. There's
definitely body horror.
It's like exploitation.
There's clearly body horror going on. I don't know about exploitation, but there's clearly body horror happening here. I just don't feel like it's, at no point am I scared, or am I feel like I'm really supposed to be scared.
I'm sorry, Travis.
That's okay.
It reminded me a little bit about Spider, the David Cronenberg film that is also about somebody who's mentally disturbed. And God help us, you'd think that Cronenberg would go over the edge, but he's restrained in something like Spider. He's not tossing these horror, or whatever you want to call them, they're genre cliches your way, and he's doing a little bit more that I haven't seen before, other than Black Swan.
Hey, well, I mean, Cronenberg is a fucking master. I mean, I like Aronofsky. I don't think that he's a master. I don't. I mean, like I said, I think he's hit or miss.
He's not.
The Fountain fucking sucks. I mean,
he is hit or miss.
He's hit or miss, dude. He's got flashes of brilliance, but yeah, go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry. He's not what?
He's got a lineage of movies, but that doesn't mean they're all fantastic. Like you said, you've already laid out that case. Aronofsky's name is thrown out there. A Requiem for a Dream is a classic, and it's really well done. All the work he does, he doesn't have the ability to kind of... I don't know if he's a great collaborator, not with the actors so much, but I wonder if he could really benefit from the other people involved in the behind-the-scenes production of movies and get a little bit more collaboration involved. Yeah, that's a total conspiracy theory. I don't know anything about that. But.
No, same thing. I don't know anything about it, but I'd be curious, how involved is he in the editing process? I'd be curious to see if maybe someone else with a different eye, maybe would take a different approach to some of his stuff, a little less frenetic.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Mother, you guys have ripped Mother a million times. Obviously, Noah, that's trash. History. Black Swan, we're talking about it now. The Wrestler, it's good.
It's good.
Fountain, trash.
Well,
unless Eric, is it not trash?
I'm sorry, but you talk about the editing of the film, and another issue I have with the film. I don't mean to be so negative, but I'm just so surprised after that first viewing. Like I said, I walked out. I could have floated away from the Michigan Theater after that first viewing. I watch this now, and I'm like, this editing. What is the timeline here? Like a professional New York stage ballet is going to take a year to produce and eventually have its premiere.
That's a good point. It feels like it's happening over
it's happening in a week.
Yeah,
it does seem
that's true.
And especially in terms
but it's a season. It's not a year. It's a season too.
If you're going to tackle, and that's another problem with. I don't know why I'm so fired up.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But you sound like Travis at the end of last week's episode. Good God.
I really do. But if you're going to tackle this character's psychosis, to do it in what seems to be such a short time seems irresponsible and stupid to me.
Well, maybe, yeah. I don't have any arguments there. What else? What else do we not cover here, guys? I'm sure there's something you want to talk about, but yeah, it's a mental health. Forget it. You shouldn't even cover it in this movie because it's never discussed in any meaningful dialogue in this movie at all.
What do you mean? You can't say that and shouldn't even cover it in this movie. This movie is literally about mental health.
No, but
it's
what about
a mental health breakdown?
When is it discussed in this movie in any meaningful way in the dialogue? That's a question.
It's not, and I think that's part of the point. Again, that gets to my point that not only is she neglecting her mental health because she doesn't realize or really fully appreciate.
I get that.
Nobody in her life does either. So that's why it's never addressed.
That's a problem.
It is. It's a very real problem when mental health issues get ignored by the people experiencing them and the people in their lives who should have concern for them. That's how they slip through the cracks and accidentally fucking stab themselves on stage or whatever.
That's a problem for the movie though, being made.
But see, I see what you're saying. I just think it's a deliberate choice that they're trying to I think they're trying to make that argument that you need to talk about this stuff. You need to acknowledge it or else you're going to bleed out.
Maybe. I agree with that. Maybe. I completely agree with you. What I think my problem here is with the way they decided to make the movie and that premise. That's the problem because what is this movie? You say it's not horror. It is like a thriller, scary movie.
Yeah, it's like a thriller drama. I would give it that.
That's fine. I mean, these are semantics, but I just don't get what his intentions. In fact, I should have read up more about it. What was your intention, Mr. Aronofsky? Did you want to this descent to madness?
I'm sorry. Yeah. You're going to fast forward it, but you think you should have read more about it?
Yes. Yeah. Well, it made me uncomfortable. I admitted it made me uncomfortable. It did. It's a very
Aronofsky's almost always trying to make his audience uncomfortable. That's his thing, man. That's his thing. That's his.
Absolutely. Mother can suck. I fucking cannot stand the movie. I'm right now.
Aaron likes Mother. Aaron, are you out there? You love Mother, don't you?
I can see it. I can see that.
It's what Aronofsky's going for, right? He wants you to be unsettled in almost every film he's made.
He's a really intelligent filmmaker. I know because he wears scarves in all of his interviews.
He has a mustache in his IMDb photo.
That's
very tiny.
No ascot? I don't know.
That's why I'll go back again to these first 15 minutes. You got Vincent Cassel. he's telling us, he's reminding us about what Swan Lake is all about. It's about, the white swan, getting under the spell and desiring freedom. And
he's great in this movie, by the way. I know he plays a
so
scumbag.
And only true really love, only true love, or you could, or something can break this spell. And then the Black Swan swoops in, and she blah blah blah. There's nothing to strive for with this character. There's nothing dangling there. Like, hey, if you go in this direction, maybe you can be saved from this eventual terror or horror that is beckoning you at the end. It's just descent into madness, and that's what fucking bugged me. There's nothing there. There's no one to root for.
Aronofsky says that he maintains this is a psychological horror film.
Well, in that case, I'm glad. If it is a horror movie, I'm glad because it's an Academy Award winning and Academy Award nominated horror movie, which I'm on board with that. I'd like horror to get more love in the, award situation. But yeah, I whatever. That's like you said, it's semantics. I don't want to argue that anymore. I do think that. I do think that, like, for me, yeah, I empathize with the character. I get what he's going for. I'm not arguing that with you. I am not arguing that with you. I know we can get the job, but can he do the job? I think that it is a lot more simple of a story than I realized, and you are watching this person in this death spiral, and that makes it hard to watch too. Like, I think that you do feel trapped in the way that with the choices that she's making and the situation that has the way that her life has panned out. I guess it's all anxiety inducing and not the most joyous watch, which is why I didn't watch it for 11 years,
it's my problem with this character, Travis, man. And I totally see what you're saying, but we've got someone who is already in the upper echelon of New York ballet theater, and she's not satisfied. She wants to be perfect.
Yeah.
And
that's another problem.
I don't know how I can root for this character when there's just not much there for me personally.
Well, I mean, I think that to me is why this is like an athlete's horror in a way, like an athlete's nightmare. Like, that your body's falling apart, that you're getting too old. There's always someone coming up behind you trying to take your position. That was what I got out of that.
Okay.
Yep. That's really well said, Travis. You're right. And you gave me that perspective. And yeah, she is an athlete. She's an incredible machine. She's someone with, they put a lot of effort into the dancing from what I've read on this. Mm-hmm. I'll give a lot of credit to Natalie Portman. She probably was the impetus for this being made as well. And there was a big thing before the movie came out about some dancer said, that's not her. Natalie Portman faked all that stuff. And everybody vehemently denied that. So, I mean, it looks like she certainly gave it her all because I just don't think you could create this type of performance. This is what's kind of going on. You got you got a girl trying to get a performance out of the character and Swan Lake, and then the real human being herself, Natalie Portman, trying to get this beautiful, transcendent, next-level performance out of herself in the movie. That's interesting. That's fascinating stuff, and I do enjoy that type of just like layers upon layers of filmmaking, but I don't know.
Yeah, I go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
I want to ask you this. If you want to, you can comment what you're going to say, but does a movie have to hold up? Does it have to be enjoyable?
No, because I mean, enjoyable. I think that's like a loaded term because, like, there's some movies I enjoy, or I think are good movies that I don't necessarily like enjoy. Right? Like, I'm trying to think. Some of the rougher horror, like for instance, like Midsummer, for instance. I think Midsummer is a fucking fantastic movie. It's not enjoyable. I don't enjoy watching Midsummer,
Right. Yeah, and there's movies like Lawrence of Arabia that are fucking masterpieces, but so boring.
So I think that, like, obviously this ever fluid idea of what it is to hold up, but it's clearly subjective, whatever it is. So what does it mean to you today, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Eric, you want to lead us off? I mean, you picked this movie.
I know, and I feel bad.
I think we know where you're.
I'm not arguing that with you.
I'm going to try not to make the same mistake I did last week. We've got what is technically such a gorgeous movie. I love this like grainy photography and this camera work. It's so tight on Natalie Portman. It's that the frame is so claustrophobic. You're almost afraid to turn a corner. So in terms of the paranoia and the frustration of this character, it's shot meticulously. And that's a credit to Daren Aronofsky. My problem is the script. He borrows, he samples, he steals from so many cliched, like even like 80s genre picks about like, hey, it turns out that like this is you, and like we get it. All these mirrors, we get it, man. Do it. You're your own worst enemy. We get it. Ad nauseum. For me, that really brought it down for me, man. And as much as I adore this performance by Natalie Portman, she does what she can, but she mostly just plays scared and confused for 2 hours. I blame the script. And because of this story, I got to tell you right now that I can't say that it holds up, even though I think this is a great effort and beautiful film to watch. I can't say I recommend that it holds up in 2021 right now.
I'm not arguing that with you.
I'm not going to scream at you or swear at you. So,
I'll go next. First off, come on, dude. Say what you will. Say what I've said about this movie on the show already. Natalie Portman's performance is absolutely worthy of sweep. She got the Golden Globe.
She does what she can. What the fuck is that?
Sorry, dude. Yeah, sorry, Eric. We love you. You know we love you. But get the fuck out, dude. I mean, if the movie sucks, it sucks. But her performance, no, she gave. I was thinking about Closer. We did Closer on this.
I love her performance, Mike. I'm just saying the script she was
handed.
What you
just said about it, though?
She does.
Yeah, go back and listen to what you just said about her performance.
Yeah, I think you forgot.
I'll have to. Yeah. But like, no one like she couldn't do what she was handed better. She's incredible in the film. Like you can play Humpty Dumpty and like get an Oscar if you do it good enough. I'm just saying this. Script wasn't there. There was no character.
I'd like to see the Humpty Dumpty movie. I
think they just call it Dumpty.
Oh, now it'd be
They
Dumpty.
would.
You guys see Dumpty, the dark and gritty remake?
Double feature with grilled cheese, the movie. That'd be awesome.
Yep. The wall is like it's like the Berlin Wall instead of, it's like there's this huge like European faction. I won't go there.
Anyways, she did an amazing job. So kudos to her. And I was thinking about Closer, which is a movie we did on this podcast. You can go back and listen to the old Closer version if you'd like to. 2004.
It's not just you. Is it, Eric? Are you having audio issues?
Got it.
Yeah.
I got so pissed off. I pulled the wire out of my
There's something going on with Mike.
Yeah. Oh, it's Mike.
Yeah,
it's Mike.
Yeah, he turned into a robot. If you could
see we got like Max Headroom here.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Streaming. We're gonna assume he's just saying I'll try to fill in. This is a film I guess that has a lot of meaningful things.
Bob Saget, Code Red. Bob Saget, Code Red. Bob Saget, Code Red.
He's back.
Everybody okay?
All right.
My battery almost died, and I had to switch an emergency plug over. I apologize, folks. I should have noticed that. That's my fault.
You're delayed.
Anywho,
you were saying.
So where did I leave off? We did Closer. 2004's Closer, which is an episode on this podcast that you can listen to at your pleasure. And she was great in that. And I thought of that role a few times when I watched this movie because those are really two of her most, in my view, some of her most outwardly emotional. She really doesn't hold anything back in those roles. Really well done. So she deserves everything. And, Vincent Cassel is a guy that I've not seen a lot of. We watched Brotherhood of the Wolf recently on this show as well. And that's not a movie where you're getting the best of Vincent Cassel, to be frank, in my opinion. I've seen him in the Ocean 12, and I have not seen a ton of him in my line of work as a viewer.
He saw Eastern Promises, right?
Oh, shit, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's great in that. Yeah, forgot about that. Yeah. Good call. But I think this is the best I ever saw him, and I'm going to lock that in, too. So you have great acting performances. Clearly, Aronofsky got the most out of everybody in this, or they were like ready to give their all. However it came together. I got no beef with any of the performances. And the movie puts me on edge. So the movie's doing something to me. It's making me feel something I don't necessarily want to feel. I don't enjoy it. I'm like, oh my God, this sucks. This poor woman. Oh my God, her mother's the worst. Barbara Hershey is fucking fantastic.
So good.
So, but I really don't know what to say. I'm fucking torn because I'm shitting on the movie here a bit, but it's really does stick with you. But it's not, like Travis said so clearly, I don't want to watch this movie again and again, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hold up. So as a film,
fast forwarded it many times. You didn't care what was happening, Mike.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
sorry to break in, but that's the truth. You didn't care what was happening, so you fast forwarded it.
Let the man speak.
It's my retribution.
So the guy who yelled at you last week.
I know.
The truth is, I wasn't that into this movie when I watched it, but I'm really kind of into discussing the film a lot more, which is a curious position to be in. I don't know why. So in the end, Aronofsky, he made that. I'm going to think about that point there. He does not know how to collaborate properly. He doesn't restrain. No one's restraining him either. So I think he ends up becoming his own worst enemy. And I don't think this movie holds up. I'm sorry. It's a great performance, some really great performances, but this movie does not hold up.
All right. I'd like to go back to the beginning of the film for a minute to make a couple points that I didn't get a chance to make earlier, and that I think, for me, demonstrate some of the things I like about the film. It starts off the dream sequence, which none of us here are particularly crazy about, but you get an example early in the film of how well the camera can dance with the dancers. Like, it is part of the film. There's so much handheld work in this movie, which usually I'm not into at all. I don't, especially dramas. I don't usually really care for that kind of stuff. But it's used really effectively. And what's the cinematographer's name again, Eric?
Matthew Lebidicu.
Well done on him. It is shot very, very well. And then there's this emphasis on feet, and not like in a Tarantino kind of way, in a very accurate to ballerinas way. I don't know much about ballerinas, but my niece has been one for about 10 years. And what I know about ballerinas is that their feet get fucked up. Their feet are just beat to shit all the time. Their bodies this is a fucking sport. Their bodies they go through the ringer, and by 28, their bodies are toast. They're done. They can't do it anymore. So I like the way that we're eased into her problems. You were eased in for the dream. We're eased into her hopes and her wishes, however misguided and ill-placed they are. And the way that we're eased into the body horror of what she goes through. I think that this movie, for all of its simplicity, because I do think it is like a really simple story, I think that it hits those beats really, really well. I acknowledge, I think you're right about like the tortured woman, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff, like, is a little tired. But if you're going to make a movie about a mental health crisis and how that can climax in tragedy, I think this is an unintentional tragedy, right? She doesn't purposely kill herself. It's the psychotic break that didn't need to come that does it. So for all of that, I like you were saying earlier, Eric, that this is like a terrible depiction of mental health and all that kind of stuff. And I disagree. Based on my experiences with it, some of this just felt so uncomfortably familiar. And lastly, this is the only movie out of 75 movies now that we've watched that when it was over, I got on Wikipedia real quick and confirmed to make sure that the lead actor got the Academy Award for it, which she did. Never have I done that before because, you know what I mean? Like we tend to watch movies where we're not sure if they hold up or not. But her performance in this, I already used the word transcendent. And I think that's, especially when she shows up as the Black Swan, but throughout the whole thing, I disagree that she's just panicked and sad the whole time. I think that she rides this rail throughout the movie of experiencing different emotions at once at a lot of times, where she's aroused but angered, or where she's nervous but happy, and like there's all these kind of different things like that she's doing at once, and at the same time she's trying to rein it all in and keep it all real close, but show us that it's about to burst. I think it's the performance of her career, and I think the film holds up.
There it is.
There it is. All right, one holds up.
Michael's been truly touched by this. Truly passionate testimonial.
He's reading about the movie again.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there you have it. I was thinking
fast forwarded your comments.
Can I fast forward?
Just tuned me out.
I was thinking about, the hold up thing. Does it hold up?
Oh, here we go again. Are you kidding
This is where
me?
we get into. No, just relax. Okay, just mute yourself. The thing is,
Yourself.
it's not about me. So when sometimes I'll get flack for like, what, you said it sucked or it holds up still. It's because I try to take myself out of it. I do have opinions on it and I look at it, but for does it hold up, I take myself out of it. I try to. And I feel like,
oh yeah, I do the opposite.
yes. See, exactly. Yeah, and I think I've hit on a point here that it's just kind of a revelation for me about how we look at this. That's all. I just want to throw that out there.
It's interesting.
It's not about me. It's about the bigger picture thing. That's how I view it. But anyway,
so are you saying that moving forward you'll be more subjective or less subjective?
I don't see any
revelation here.
I don't see any instant changes happening here.
Okay.
At this time. But,
do you see any future picks? Because it is your turn to pick our
true.
next feature here on the Cinema 9 podcast.
Yeah, and we got to get on the Cinema 9 Discord, the business only Discord, and talk about the next guest too.
That's true. In 2 weeks, we're gonna have a special
I sent you a
guest.
message about it.
Oh, well,
wait, no, you wait. So we're ready to announce our special guest in 2 weeks, right? Is that what you're saying?
I feel like we are we not?
Okay, yes, we are. Okay, I misunderstood.
Go ahead, Travis, please.
No, you.
You want me to do it?
I do.
Do I know who
you were
it is?
about to. It's Brian from the podcast "What This Song Means to Me."
Oh, that's right! Yay!
Yes, and I asked you if you were going to talk to him about it, which you did not.
I did talk to him about it. I did. So, yeah, great. Brian Seymour will be on this podcast. What the Song Means to Me. It's a great podcast. Me and Travis have been on it. I'm sure Eric will be on it next after he meets Brian when he comes on the show.
Yeah, you might. My episode hasn't aired yet, so you won't find mine.
It's all staggered. It'll be there. Deary's hasn't aired yet either. It's all part of the process. I think he's trying to stagger out us people that know each other too often. I don't know what his process is. I'm just making shit up. I have no idea.
I don't know.
It will be revealed.
And he will be on our show in 2 weeks. But before that, next week we have Mike Govier's choice, which he is right now choosing from a list on his phone while I vamp for him.
No need to hide it. I do have a list. I think it's important to make sure that there's a list growing because we all have a list, right?
Yeah, I have a list, actually, but it ends up being a list that I look at and be like, okay, I'm not picking that this week either.
Yeah.
More and more I end up
doing that.
Yeah, I end up picking it differently I don't use the list anymore.
Oh, these are some good ones.
So 10 Reese Witherspoon movies.
Let me see. Do I see a Reese Witherspoon movie?
We got Sweet Home Alabama. We got Legally Blonde. We got Legally Blonde 2. We're going to do Election again.
I don't see her on this list right now. There's about 23 movies on this list.
Well, name one of them.
It's just a matter of... So we had 2010 here. We went to 2010. I'll do what Eric does. I'll give you a couple choices with the years. Okay. And I'll let you guys decide. That's kind of a fun. I like that game. It's a fun game.
Okay.
All right. So we could go to either 2004 or 1988.
I say 1988.
I say 1988 as well. We haven't been to the 80s in a while.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. You're ready to lighten the mood for this one. We're switching gears. We're doing 1988's License to Drive.
What?
Been since I was 8.
License to Drive.
Perfect. All right.
License to Drive.
Doesn't hold up.
I was always a Little Dream guy, so I didn't really see that one much.
Oh, that's a good one, too. I love that movie. I used to, anyways. I haven't seen License to Drive in a minute, but, man, I really enjoyed it when I was a kid. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Left field. I like it.
Richard Mazur is in that one, plays the father.
How are we going to stand out from the numerous critical essays that have been written about this monumental, ponderous, thought-provoking film?
Hey, you could have picked 2004. You picked 88, so that's what we're doing.
License to Drive.
It is a different movie in 04, I will tell you that. So. All right, cool. The two Coreys next week. I think it's the first time we've done the two Coreys.
Yeah,
it will be. That's true.
All right, cool.
All right.
A lot of bright colors, a lot of young actors. We'll see you next week.
A lot of shades.
There'll be some shades. There'll be some hijinks too. There's gonna be hijinks
for
involved.
sure.
So, Hoagie hijinks tribute. We'll catch you guys next week on the Cinema Night podcast. We appreciate your time and energy, and enjoy your lives, everyone.
Is there a fun Black Swan quote we can end on?
Attack it! Attack it! Attack it!
I got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing.